Gooners, welcome to Gooner Pavillion, and we're going to be looking at the Arsenal versus Aston Villa preview at Villa Park. And the battles just keep coming. This is another one, guys, and I want you to stick with me because I'm going to be talking about a decision that Mikel Arteta needs to make in this game that is absolutely going to change things for Arsenal. And people are talking about Liverpool, people are talking about Manchester City, talking about even Chelsea. But actually, did you know that Aston Villa causes the most tactical problems to Arsenal every time we face them? Unai Emery has got this thing right. And maybe because of the past relationship with Arsenal, he brings out his tactical masterclass every time Arsenal plays him. And we're going to look into that, as well. But guys, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button before I continue any further. And also, please, share this with as many Arsenal fans as possible because we're going to be deep diving into the Aston Villa versus Arsenal preview. 12:30 kickoff. Let's get into it. Okay, so Arsenal are missing centre backs. Let's just get the cards on the table. Against Brentford, we had to shuffle the whole pack. Mosquera started the game and then went off injured. Timber had to come in. So we're actually going into Aston Villa without a settled back four and with a lot of rotation up front. And this is going to be a tough game because Aston Villa are legit top four contenders, right? The reality is they're third place now, 27 points, and they have one of the best home form in the league right now. Similar with Arsenal, they've played seven games. Arsenal has played six, but Villa has played 7 games. They got 16 points. Only Man City have got more points at home, and they actually beat Man City when Man City went to Villa Park. So this is going to be a very, very tough game. And Villa Park is a real fortress. We've struggled in this matchup so many times. And the funny thing about football is really all about timings, right? When you play, teams make a huge difference. Ollie Watkins' domestic season has been anything but spectacular. He's had a low goal tally, 6 matches without a goal, confidence dipping. But then what does he do? An incredible brace against Brighton in the game on Wednesday. And he's hitting form just at the right time as Arsenal roll into town. So instead of us facing an out of form Watkins, we're now facing a relieved, motivated, revived Ollie Watkins. So it's going to be interesting. Villa's players, the last set of the Villa had they made a couple of rotations as you expect. For the midweek game, lots of teams did the rotation, but you expect the full team, the full squad of Aston Villa to show up at Villa Park on Saturday. They press aggressively, they run intensely, they attack in waves, and they overload the middle. And they like to dominate the duel. So Arsenal have to go into this game with the right kind of mentality. Unfortunately for Arsenal, there are no easy games in the Premier League, and this is going to be a real test. Brentford was a good platform because you wanted to go into this game against Aston Villa with a lot of confidence. But having said that, though, for Arsenal, there are a lot of things that we can look at right now. Odegaard is back, and that changes everything. He got a run out against Brentford, and it was good to get him 90 minutes because I thought he needs to start getting into games as much as possible. And then we also saw Eze coming into the game, playing on that left-hand side, where I don't think he's the most effective, but he can do a job. Although I suspect that this is not the lineup that Arsenal is going to go with. Mosquera injured, Timber the center back. This is going to be a big tactical adjustment as well. So Watkins will target Timber. There's no question about that. But Timber has got to be good, especially his first touch, because Watkins is very good at getting that second ball off the defender and then racing. And when he starts to race, sometimes you cannot catch him. So, of course, Saka returns. He started on the bench, came into the Brentford game and scored a goal. So I fully expect Saka to start this game. Merino up front, scored again in midweek. He always creates that third midfield structure for Arsenal, which is always great. He complements Odegaard and always helps Arsenal with his calm composure with the ball. This is a game that is perfect for him. So Saka, Merino, Martinelli are most likely going to be the people that are going to play up front. Now, let's look at some of the tactical battlegrounds in this game, because I think that this is generally where the match be won or lost. Now, Villa's favorite pattern is long balls, Watkins isolating the fullbacks and the centre backs, laying off, and then midfielders crashing into the box. And you're going to have the likes of McGinn, Rogers, and perhaps Guisan. And these are high traffic, high intensity arrivals. And Arsenal's critical response will have to be about what Declan Rice does on the pitch, how he can drop back into those transition lines. You're going to see a battle between Morgan Rogers and Calafiori in this game. Rogers is Villa's best 1v1 player, and you see him glide through players at ease in a lot of games. And I do remember last time when we went to Aston Villa, this was a tough game. He ran circles all over Partey. But that Arsenal midfield should be looking a little bit, stronger going to this game. But I do have concerns about energy levels and what they have in the tank, because this is going to be another game of running, running, running. But the key for Arsenal, the one decision that Mikel Arteta will need to make in this game is going to be how Martinelli plays. Martinelli is going to be very key in this game because he needs to have discipline. And this is probably one of those games where Martinelli is probably not, you're not going to see him flying forward as we would want him to see, because he really needs to support the defensive actions a lot in this game. And I think that's going to be key, because if he's locked in and Arsenal survive this flank, then we've got a great chance of walking away with 3 points. This is going to be a tough, tough, tough game. Guisson is the chaos engine for Aston Villa. Likes to get into the blindside pockets, and that's the zone between Zubimendi and the centre backs. This is going to be Zubimendi's biggest test of the season, and if he can find a way to insert himself into this game, then I think Arsenal are going to do well to come out with a great result. And then in that midfield is going to be really chaotic. I expect Onana to start with Camara, and then that will be a battle that Arsenal will need to win. And I don't think it's going to be necessarily just a physical battle. This is going to have to be a mental battle. Now, Rice came off the pitch a little bit injured, so we've got to wait to see how he's feeling for that game. But Rice has got to play, and he's absolutely crucial if we want to get something out of Aston Villa at 12:30. If Rice wins the duels, in the middle of the pack, um, then we've got a good chance. This is going to be a chess match. This is going to be a chess match between those two players. And then, of course, you've got Matty Cash, who likes to overlap on the flank. He's their biggest outlet, especially when they're trying to escape the press that the other team provides. So Saka is going to be important. Now, would Cash be doing a lot of the overlapping, especially when he knows that he's playing against Saka, who'll be going the other way? So we're going to have to watch that to see, the tactical games that are going to be playing. I would trust Saka to get the better of Matty Cash, but Matty Cash is very, very athletic, as well. Is a difficult customer. So this could be a swing zone in this game. And then, of course, you got set pieces with Gabriel and Saliba. I'm hoping Saliba is fit enough to come into this game. I really do, because I think that his organization is really going to be important. Because in set pieces, Villa are strong as well. They've got Onana, they've got Watkins, they've got Konsa. So a lot of those first duels and second balls are going to be important when set pieces are in play. Now, one of the stats that I was looking at when I was researching this game, that really, really, surprised me, is that Villa tend to score a lot of their goals in the first half. Now, of course, in the Brighton game, that was slightly different, but majority of Villa's goal comes in the first half. And Arsenal have conceded just 2 goals in the second half of the season, which is the best in the league. So really, it's about surviving that first 25 minutes for Arsenal. We survive that first 25 minutes, we've got a good chance of controlling the match and controlling the game. Now, when it comes to the lineup, this is what I am expecting to see against that game. Raya, I expect Raya, Timber, expecting to play, Nkapia and Calafiori. There's a decision to be made here, especially with Saliba. If Saliba cannot go, then we're probably going to see a white Timber, Nkapia and Calafiori in the back line. And then in the middle of the pack, you're going to see Rice, Subimendi, and Odegaard. I think Odegaard starts again in this game, and then Saka, Merino, and Martinelli. Pretty much a similar sort of lineup that started today. Obviously, with Saka starting instead of Madueke. I think that Mikel Arteta wants to get Odegaard going as soon as possible. And you see, there was a bit of a reluctance, getting Gyökeres into the game as well. So that's going to be interesting because Merino has done nothing to suggest that he shouldn't start in this game. Scoring in 2 consecutive games, Mikel Arteta is going to want to start Merino. So I still expect Merino to start up front. And for Villa, it's going to be a much changed lineup than what we saw this weekend. I expect Watkins to start. Rogers is going to play. Onana, Martinez in goal. Matson, Paul Torres, Konsa, Cash. I expect all of these guys to play. So, guys, this is going to be a stress test for Arsenal. Well, a lot of the games this season is going to be like that. And for me, this is going to be Arsenal's toughest opponent. And Aston Villa have had a record of disrupting Arsenal's title run in previous seasons. So we've got to stand up strong. This is going to be a battle. And you know what? I like the fact that it's a 12:30 kickoff. Although Arsenal doesn't terribly like that kickoff. But what it does is that we win this game and then we can sit back and put pressure on Man City and the rest of the other title challengers. So if Arsenal dominate the second half, with Saka coming back fresh, having a rest from the Brentford game, Merino in form, and I think that Arsenal can win this game. Now, I don't expect us to come away with a clean sheet, but I think this is one of those 2-1 type games. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 prediction in this game. It's going to be tough about the scorers, but I'm thinking maybe Gyökeres can sneak one, Saka can sneak one. It really doesn't matter who scores. The important thing is to come away with the 3 points in this game. So this game is going to tell us exactly where we stand in the title race because we will be going to a place where Man City haven't done well. And if we pick 3 points, we've actually bettered Man City's result at Villa Park. So drop your predictions below, guys. Let me know what you think about the scoreline. Who do you think scores? Who shocks you? Who scares you? How do you think this game will go? And do you agree that this is a difficult test for Arsenal? And of course, after the game, we're going to do win, lose, or draw. We'll be back here to do the Pavillion debrief of 3 ups and 3 downs. And also check out our Pavillion 3 ups and 3 downs from the Brentford game as well. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one.